Hello my soccer universe. On a weekend where I was madly happy about what Lask was doing, I was also madly upset about Milan, which you can watch up here as well. And so let's review everything else that happened in Europe's big leagues. The big headlines, of course, come from the Premier League, especially with West Ham dealing a hammer blow to Arsenal's title chances. It looks all Liverpool right now as well. In Spain, more or less staying par for the course. Same thing in Germany with a big win for Bayern Munich. We also had a really good game in France to top the round. Potentially a really exciting title race in Portugal, and a big swing in Ajax's favor in the Eredivisie, where we're gonna start. Well, after a great European week for the Eredivisie, losing only a single team in the Europa League in Twente, but having two on in the Champions League and also two on in the Europa League, we had a little make-up round. And in that make-up round, we had all the European teams more or less playing and getting home wins, which also means now that Ajax sit 5 points clear ahead of PSV, who were the only European team that was not playing on the weekend. They already played it before their games against Juventus. Ajax beat the Go Ahead Eagles 2-0, relatively easy. I would argue the two goals came in the second half. Brobbey, then a Dirksen goal was actually disallowed. That would have given the equalizer to the Go Ahead Eagles in the 83rd minute when they were already down a man. And then Edwards in the 86th minute brings the 3 points home. Ajax may not have been convincing in the Europa League. However, in the Eredivisie, things are looking on the up, and they are now the favorites to win the Eredivisie. Already on Saturday evening, Feyenoord backed up their huge result in Milan with a 2-1 home win over Almarez City. That is last place Almarez City, but it was not easy. It was a come from behind win in 6th minute. We're already down a goal. Carranza, who also got the equalizer at the San Siro, gets the equalizer here too. And then Feyenoord are pressing. However, it needed a Hansko goal in the 91st minute to seal the 3 points. And now the new coach is Robin van Persie. Twente bounced back from their elimination at Bode with a 2-0 home win over Nijmegen. Kuipers scoring both goals. And after a very successful trip to Istanbul, Aston Galatasaray in the process AZ, a measly 1-0 win over Fortuna Sittard, Burmeister being the scorer of that winning goal. Well, the majority of Europe, and I would argue the world, were focusing on the Champions League on Wednesday evening. There was the little match of Aston Villa against Liverpool, which was played ahead of schedule because Liverpool have to play the League Cup final and Champions League and everything in between. It was a big clash. It ends in a 2-2 draw that Liverpool will rue that they have not won, although they secured a draw coming from behind. They took a lead from Mohamed Salah, who continues his absolutely ridiculous goal-scoring form. However, just before the half, Tielemans and then Ollie Watkins turned the game in Villa's favor. Alexander-Arnold gets the equalizer, and then Darwin Núñez has two big misses that probably should have given Liverpool the win. On the other side, there was a goal for Villa disallowed because of an offside as well, so it could have swung the other way as well. In the end, I think it's a valuable point for Liverpool, although it opened slightly the door for Arsenal to make up ground. Thanks to West Ham, Arsenal's hopes of finally claiming another Premier League title are down to a minimum as they lose after a lackluster performance 1-0 at home to the Hammers, with Jared Bowen scoring the winning goal just before halftime after a Wan-Bissaka cross. It was more lackluster, slow stuff by Arsenal, who really look completely out of sorts. Adding insult to injury, Luis Skelly sent off with a straight red card, tripping up Kudus, who was through on goal as well. And in the end, West Ham saw that out relatively easy. And then Liverpool went to City, the big match of the past few years, and won cruisingly. 2-0 away from home. Mohamed Salah again scoring, again assisting the other goal by Szoboszlai as well. After the half, this game was done and dusted. It could have been even more. City were completely outplayed by Liverpool, which is rather remarkable. Goal by Curtis Jones was disallowed for offside, but in the end it was really an easy win for Liverpool, who now sit 11 points with a game more ahead of Arsenal. So Arsenal need to win the game in hand and hope for Liverpool to slip up. But after that performance, that seems rather unlikely. Let's also run through the remaining Premier League results. On Friday evening, Brentford went to Leicester and romped over them 4-0. It was only 3-0 at the halftime, and then very late on, Carvalho adds a fourth. It's 4 different goal scorers as well. Leicester really one of the teams that will be relegated again. The early kickoff on Saturday brought plenty of controversy, although it looked very easy for Everton at the beginning. I think better opened the scoring after a real comedy of errors in the United defense, and Doucouré doubles it up in the 33rd minute. Everton had that game in the bag, and they seemed crude. There was really not much coming from United, and then it's a Fernandes free kick in the 72nd minute that reignites United, and Ugarte just a few minutes later gets the equalizer a little bit out of nowhere, and late on penalties given his call back. It was a rather weird call to me. The referee was not shown all the pictures. Should have been a penalty for Everton, but yeah, United still not looking good, and I would actually argue that Everton will finish ahead of United this season. Bournemouth also suffered a setback, being down to 10 men thanks to Zabania being sent off and then Mateusz Cunha getting the winning goal for Wolves, paired with other results, meaning that Wolves look rather safe, although they're just above the relegation line. But I think this was a pre-decision in the relegation race. Another slight surprise result. Crystal Palace go to Fulham and win 2-0. The first goal was an own goal, although Lacroix was celebrating it wildly. A Mateta goal. It was really nicely. It was then disallowed for offside in the 52nd minute. However, Munoz after Mateta assists gets a second goal for Oliver Glasner's side. It's barely believable, but with a win at Ipswich, a win that was a little bit lucky, especially when you look at the first few minutes, Spurs are on the longest winning run, winning 4-1 at Ipswich. The first 2 goals came by Brennan Johnson, both assisted by Son. Then Hutchinson pulls one back, however, in the second half. Spence and Kulusevski make it a rather resounding scoreline for Spurs. After dismantling Chelsea, Brighton get another big win. It's a 4-0 away win at Southampton. João Pedro, Ritter, Mitoma and Hinchelwood scoring the 4 goals. Speaking of Chelsea, they had an early lead through Enzo Fernandez. However, in the second half, the new Aston Villa turned it around. Rashford assists Marco Asensio to get the equalizer, and then they pair up again late on in the 89th minute with Asensio heading it home for the winner. And Sunday's an absolutely mad game up in Newcastle. Hudson-Odoi gave Forest the lead. However, within 11 minutes between the 23rd and 34th, Newcastle score 4. Miley Murphy and 2 Isak goals make it a 4-1 score. I really like the penalty, just going high down the middle, and even though the goalie was standing up, there was no chance for him to save it. And then Newcastle thought they had it safe. In the 63rd minute, Milenkovic pulls one back, and in the 90th minute, Yates another one. And Forest were pushing for equalizer, but it ends with a Newcastle win. We actually saw quite a few lopsided results in the Bundesliga this weekend, and it started out already on Friday with Freiburg beating Bremen 5-0. Sildilla and Grifo scoring the first half, then André Silva misses a penalty for Bremen, and then Grifo adds a second one right after the half before Rizzodon adds 2 more. Freiburg sit now in a Champions League spot. Meanwhile, Augsburg does Augsburg things, getting the points when it really counts. I've been saying it consistently over the past few weeks. This time it's an incredible 3-0 away win at high-flying Borussia Mönchengladbach, a Gladbach team that was actually eyeing Europe a little bit. However, Omlin is sent off in the first half with a straight red card, and that played right into the hand of Augsburg, who then secured a win in the second half with Claude Maurice scoring a hat-trick. Despite the 8-point deficit to leaders Bayern Munich, Leverkusen are securing the next Champions League spot. This time they get a rather unforced 2-0 away win at Holstein Kiel, with Amin Adli being the hero, assisting the first one by Schick and then scoring a second one himself, assisted of course by Wirtz. Both goals come in the first half. Unbelievably, Mainz, who were wearing their new Carnival jerseys, are still in contention for a potential Champions League spot. They beat St. Pauli 2-0 at home, with Lee Jae-sung scoring and assisting a goal. Bochum might be 4 points from safety, but they're also picking up remarkably points. It's now a 1-1 at Wolfsburg. A Wolfsburg team that not too long ago was one of the informed teams in the Bundesliga. They had a 1-0 lead through Mazovic. However, Swanberg in the 81st grabs a point for the Wolves. I don't know what Niko Kovac has done to Dortmund. However, after their bad performance in the Champions League, they followed up with a 6-0 destruction over Union Berlin. And Serhou Guirassy scoring 4 in the process, 3 of which came in succession in the second half, and scoring was opened of course by a late own goal as well. Bayer also getting on the score sheet. Another relegation threatened team, Heidenheim, after playing overtime against Copenhagen, actually started well in Leipzig, had a 2-0 lead. Really great goal by Honsak, and then Pieringer with a penalty or in the 30th minute had it up to 2-0. Openda just before the half pulls one back, and then a Šeško penalty at least secures Leipzig a point. However, they fall out of the Champions League spots. Meanwhile, Bayern have no trouble with Frankfurt, beating them 4-0 at home. Olise opening and scoring just before the halftime break. This is also a theme of this round in the Bundesliga. Then Ito, Musiala and Gnabry adding 3 more. And lastly, Woltemade gave Stuttgart the lead in a local derby at Hoffenheim. However, they cannot hang on to it, and Gift Orban scores equalizer in the 74th minute for Chris Ilz's side. Let's also look at the most important results from the Ligue 1 weekend. Rennes started out with a 1-0 win over Reims. Ever since Sampaoli left, Rennes moved themselves a little bit out of relegation trouble and put Reims straight into relegation trouble. Also didn't help that Reims were playing with a man less from the 5th minute on and got a second one sent off for yellow-red late on. Calimuendo getting the winning goal through a penalty. Monaco also didn't digest their elimination in Lisbon all that well. They lose 2-1 to another Champions League team in Lille. All the goals came in the first half. Haraldson opening up a 2-0 scoreline before Minamino pulled one back after Biret assist. Monaco cannot find an equalizer. Haraldson is one of those secret weapons in Liga. A remarkable result happened in Auxerre, who beat Marseille 3-0 at home, with both sides also having a goal disallowed. Perrin opened scoring the 34th minute second half. It's Njubal Jr. who scores 2 more for Auxerre. First one a penalty, but at that point also Cornelius had been sent off for OM right after the president put out statements about corruption against OM, blah blah blah, something that he quickly apologized for. Nantes also shed a little bit of their relegation trouble with a big 3-1 home win over Lens. Leroux and Simon already had given them a 2-0 lead. El Ainoui, like the second goal with a penalty, made it a little bit tighter, but then Onzola is sent off. Still, Nantes needed to wait until the 95th minute to seal the deal through Elia. Nice remain in third spot thanks to a 2-0 home win over Montpellier, while the duel between potentially this season's surprise team in Strasbourg and last season's surprise team in Brest ends in a 0-0 draw, although Emega had scored another goal, but it was disallowed for an offside. And then in the evening we had the big clash between Lyon and PSG. It was a very interesting, very well played game. PSG, of course, the better side. Kvaratskhelia actually doing quite some runs on his left side that we know from Napoli. However, it's then Hakimi, he opens the scoring after Barcola assist, and then Kvaratskhelia himself gets in on the action as well. After again Hakimi plays it over to him, he flicks it into Dembele's path, goes past a few defenders. It's 2-0 in the 59th minute. However, this Lyon team is not to be outdone. Ryan Shirk in the 83rd minute, after Donnarumma made 2 really big saves already, pulls one back, and then it is a brilliant goal in terms of assist when Gonzalo Ramos controls it back, hits it to Lee Kang-in, who then finds Hakimi, who seals the deal. However, Tolisso manages to pull another one back. However, no equalizer for Lyon. In the Liga, everything on top remained more or less the same. However, let's go bit by bit. First, on Friday evening, Celta beat Osasuna thanks to an Iago Aspas penalty. Then in the early kickoff on Saturday, Espanyol got a very rare away win, 1-0 at Alaves through a Calero goal in the 86th minute, meaning the survival might be within their grasp. Whereas Alaves need to be worried about going down to the Segunda. Villarreal solidify at least the 5th spot with a 1-0 away win at Rayo, who for a moment were looking like they could go into Europe. It was of course conditioned by a red card to Jorge de Frutos, Alfonso Perez scoring the winning goal in the 66th minute. Julian Alvarez was the star in a very impressive 3-0 away win for Atletico Madrid against Valencia, hard battling Valencia side, but this time Atletico Madrid were up for the task. Julian Alvarez opened the scoring in the 12th minute, doubled up in the 30th, and probably should have even had a third one. Angel Correa adds one late on to make it a 3-0 scoreline, so Atleti get the 3 points ahead of their really gauntlet of a schedule, facing Barca thrice and Real Madrid twice within the next 5 weeks. Barcelona also stay top of La Liga. This time they beat Las Palmas, who had beaten them in their, if you like, called centenary game, 2-0 away from home, and it's the substitutes that get the breakthrough. Lamine Yamal, brilliant assist to Dani Olmo, 62nd minute. Barca take the lead, and then it's Ferran Torres who seals it after Rafinha assist in the 95th minute. The early kickoff on Sunday saw a rather impressive 7-1 win of Athletic Club over Real Valladolid. The last time they scored 7, their coach was playing for Athletic Club. This was 30 years ago. There was also 6 different goal scorers, with only Iñaki Williams scoring a brace. On the flip side, Real Valladolid seem like a team that's already relegated. Real Madrid get a very workman-like 2-0 home win over Girona, where they of course had tons of possession, created chances. However, the chances they usually created were after saves by Thibaut Courtois. They take the lead then through a really great Luka Modric goal in the 41st minute, and that was more or less their path to win. And then Mbappe and Vini Jr. combined to make it a 2-0 scoreline. In the end, not much to talk home about. Betis might again become a fun side to watch. They win 2-1 at Getafe, which is never an easy win. Isco scoring both goals, the first one assisted by Antony, second one a penalty. Borja Mayoral pulls one back in the 82nd minute. Antony is also sent off with a straight red card, so maybe the fun will stop for a little while. And the Real Sociedad also keep themselves in contention for a European spot with a 3-0 home win over Leganés. And Sevilla also main more or less mid-table. They could have made a big jump with a win over Mallorca. However, they had the lead just before the halftime, and then Valiente in the 91st minute equalizes for the Allen team. It feels like Liga Portugal can get very exciting again. We have the top 4 only separated by 6 points, with the top 2 now level on points, and also 3 and 4 level on points. So even the race for the Champions League spots is quite a tight one. Braga put some pressure on Porto, beating Nacional 1-0 at home, and I'm mentioning that also because the goal scorer was a certain Gorbi. Was he named after Gorbachev? Really funny name, made me chuckle. Benfica, meanwhile, trounced Boavista 3-0 at home and put pressure on Sporting, momentarily even overtaking them. And it was Belotti, yes, Belotti, who gave them the lead. Then Rezinho sent off for Boavista, and Pavlidis and Kökçü with a penalty. Add 2 more. Also set now Boavista very much on bottom of the table. They are favorites to go down. Rather bad times for a very traditional team in Portugal. At first, it seems that Sporting will not budge under pressure. They had a 2-0 halftime lead through Diamant and Gyökeres. However, Zelou's penalty in the 71st minute makes it tight again. Then Diamant is sent off for a second yellow card just a couple of minutes later. And deep in stoppage time, Mendonça equalizes for AVS. And so Sporting just because of goal difference ahead of Benfica. And Porto also could have gotten in on the action with a win over Vitória de Guimarães. They had a 1-0 lead through Vieira. However, Embalo in the 86th equalizes. So Porto now have to look over their shoulders because Braga are breathing down the neck. But both of these teams, if the Lisbon teams are messing up, could get themselves back into a title fight. Although none of them are really convincing. So this concludes a rather eventful weekend with not too much happening except for the Premier League, Portugal and the Eredivisie, I would argue. In any case, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like these, and I'll talk to you soon about more things in my soccer universe. Bye! Hey there! I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that you may enjoy too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever something happens in my soccer universe. And with that, have a wonderful day. Bye!